Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester, and today I'm here to give you a Bitcoin, a BTC update. I'm going to be walking you through Bitcoin on the short term, the mid-term, and then the long term. I'm also going to be touching on Bitcoin dominance and also the fear and greed index as well. So stay tuned for that. Without further ado, let's just get straight into it. I'm not going to be faffing about. Straight into it. Bitcoin here on the shorter term time frame, the hourly chart here. As you can see here, guys, we do have this falling channel. We got a falling parallel channel coming through. We got touches to the top side. We got touches to the bottom side here. Obviously, it is resistance here and not support, as we have seen here, guys. And that's basically what is forming these trend lines to form this parallel channel coming through right now. Right now, we have seen Bitcoin dump, right? We've seen Bitcoin dump over the last day or so. It's been pretty dirty. I think I went to bed and then it just absolutely plummeted it down last night. Crazy stuff. In terms of percent for the dump that we saw for Bitcoin, around near enough, just over 7% there. So pretty crazy stuff happening for Bitcoin. Now we are below all major moving averages, right? We're below all major moving averages. As you can see, we did have the moving averages pretty called up here on the shorter term time frame. That's obviously had effect on the price, and as you can see, we have seen that colossal dump from there, bringing us all the way down to around that 33,364 in terms of a candle body close there. Now, the big question is, guys, are we done? Is the dump over? In my opinion, no. I don't think it is. I do think we have a little bit of a way to go yet. But obviously, guys, when we are seeing these base jumps off the Grand Canyon here, we need that correction. We need the correction reprice, consolidation to basically validate that massive crash, right? So that's basically what's happening here. It's chilling out sideways and it's not really doing that much. Preparing for another leg down, I do think, guys. And that's obviously going to give the RSI a nice time to have that correctionary period as well, right? So yeah, in terms of a price prediction, in terms of the next level of support that we are looking for, in terms of a horizontal support, correlating pretty well with the lower side of this channel as well. It is sitting around this 32,800, 850, around that sort of zone there, guys. So if you are looking for a bounce point for Bitcoin, it would be this zone coming through here. That is at 32,800, 830, that sort of zone there, guys. So yeah, I would be looking at a crucial bounce zone here. If we are to bounce up from there, that's going to be ideal. Then we can be looking at another price target of coming up and maybe coming up and testing the idea of invalidating this lower high that we've set here from this, obviously, this dirty dump coming through here, guys. So yeah, interesting stuff happening for Bitcoin on the shorter term time frame. But yeah, definitely a point to watch for in terms of a level of support would be this 32,850. And we are below all major moving averages, so it is looking pretty dirty to the downside right now. And guys, let's go on the basis that we don't continue to the downside and we have the progression to the upside. We've got a lot of resistance here. I'm talking a lot of resistance. We'll get to the other time frame shortly, but a lot of resistance coming through here on the shorter term time frame here. So we do need to take that into account in terms of a rejection coming through pretty swiftly if we are going to see that. And as you can see, we have seen that pretty much play out just here, pretty strong indeed, right? So yeah, in terms of a bounce point, to summarize, it is that 32,800 and 850 point there. But let's go on the basis, right? We went on the basis that we saw the progression to the upside here. Let's go on the basis that we see the progression to the downside and we actually don't hold this level of support. If we don't hold this level of support, sat at this 32,850, yet again saying it like 8 times now, guys, drilling it into your heads. No, what I'm saying here is we do have a measure move to the downside we do need to take into consideration in terms of a short position here, guys. So yeah, if we are going to be looking at a measure move, it is going to be something along the lines of this, obviously depending on where we're going to break along this parallel channel here, and obviously if we do lose the level of support, which we currently have along this horizontal at that 32,850. Yeah, if we do lose that, there is a potential for a short position to come through there, guys, and that could basically mean that it could bring us all the way down to that 29,788. If we are going to look at completing the measure move. I mean, personally for me, I think it's a bit far-fetched to go all the way down there when we've got all these higher lows coming through here. And also, if we obviously, guys, we thrive on the retest on this channel, right? So if we do lose this zone here, I'm not going to just be blindly entering a short position. I'm going to be waiting for us to come down, have a bit of a consolidation period, potentially come up, hopefully coming up, having that retest on the lower side of this trend line coming down here, and also the lower side of what is currently support. It will be resistance, right? When we are the lower side of it. So if we do see a nice retest of that, that is going to mean a nice close entry, a nice close stop loss coming through there. So yeah, if it is likely to be a trap coming through like that, maybe something like so. One, we're not going to jump straight into it blindly. We're going to get a nice entry point on the retest, and if the stop out is a stop out, hey, you're not going to win every trade. But yeah, if a stop out is a stop out, we're minimizing losses, and that's the strategy that we do use on this channel. It's better to be safe than be losing the money, because guys, you know why we're here. We're here to make money. It's as simple as that. So yeah, as you can see here, this would be the measure move down. We do have the volume weighted ATR band in terms of a level of support that we do need to think about as well. That could be a potentially pretty juicy take profit point in terms of coming down around that's at 3.5% around that sort of zone there. So I would be probably taking around 50% of my position, something along the lines of that. And then the next level of support is sat at around this $30,438 there for Bitcoin, and that does correlate pretty well with this this higher low point coming through here. So yeah, and also this dirty wick from that first crypto crash coming through there earlier in history. Obviously, the shorter term timeframes. We'll touch on the longer term in a second. So yeah, that would be a pretty crucial bounce point at this 30,400. That's when I'd probably think about exiting my position and not going greedy for the whole measure move there. So yeah, that's pretty much the short position I would be looking for Bitcoin on the shorter term time frame. I mean, at this point in time, we do have a bit of resistance coming through here from these high low points, so that is obviously going to cause some sort of resistance in terms of a bounce point potentially for that retest, and that's sat at around that 32,346. So yeah, this is a pretty crucial point to watch here, guys, for Bitcoin. But yeah, that brings me on to the macadamia nut, the MACD coming through here. As you can see, in terms of the trend that we had coming through. In terms of the trend that we had coming through, we were pretty done with a downtrend. We were pretty done with it. It was fizzling out pretty nice, right? It was fizzling out pretty nice, and then out of nowhere, we saw this insane colossal crash, called up moving averages, caused this insane crash to the downside, right? And yeah, we saw this. We saw the price crash considerably low to around this 33,000 again, which is not good. It's not good for Bitcoin. We want to see that progression. We want to see that bullish momentum continue, right? That's what we want. In terms of what's happening now, in terms of if we are going to see this progressionary move to the downside, this basically play out, we do have a level of support in terms of a horizontal on the MACD on the shorter term time frame. As you can see, I've got it plotted in here. I mean, you can't really see, my mic is in the way. But yeah, as you can see, I do have it plotted in here. It is this yellow line here, and as you can see, we have got levels of support being formed on it pretty continually in terms of these big downtrends, right? So yeah, that's definitely a point to watch here. If we are going to see us come down, that might mean that we are going to have that reversal if we fail to get over it in terms of the downtrend. But as you can see, guys, we are having this the momentum is cooling off in terms of this downtrend, and that basically means we're getting ready for another move if we are going to see another wave to the downside. It's got a lot of space, right? It's got a lot of space before we find that support coming through here. And I must say, we're getting closer and closer to that bullish crossover coming through. So that's initiation for a potential bounce point, maybe at this 32,850 sort of zone there. And so yeah, definite crucial point to watch there on the shorter term time frame. Now, in terms of what's happening on the RSI, we did get to that oversold point, right? We did get to that oversold point here on the RSI on the shorter term time frame for Bitcoin. And that basically, we all know that basically means we're looking for that reversal. And that's basically what's happening here, guys. As I said earlier, that is what's happening here. And that's why we're having this a bit of a flaccid period here for Bitcoin. Not a lot going on. Just kind of flirting with these prices, not really going anywhere. Not a very big uptrend. Not really any great price action coming through there, because we need this RSI to basically level out and come back to that central point if we are going to be looking for another leg down in terms of a short position coming through there. And that basically brings me on to the midterm time frame. I just want to have a little talk about this volume quickly. As you can see here on the shorter term time frame, quickly, we do have this insane stick of volume coming through. A stick of volume coming through here. You can see it's pretty crazy, and the reason why it's so big, right, is because it's the smart money versus the dumb money, right? And we know the whales are involved if we're looking at insane volume like so, right? So yeah, it's definitely something to take into consideration. The whales did dump it there, right? The whales did dump it there. So that's interesting to take in terms of the narrative for what's happening right now. Are they going to dump it again? Potentially, right? So yeah, a few things to think about there. But yeah, interesting stuff happening here on the volume candle here for Bitcoin, right? Let me jump to the midterm here for Bitcoin. The midterm here for Bitcoin, as a lot of you do know, as you can see here, we do have this this rising channel, right? We've got this rising channel coming through, another parallel channel coming through. If we jump to the shorter term, you can see this one is falling here. Compared to the midterm here, this one is rising here. And yes, as you can see in this zone here, we have just lost this pretty, I must say, It's a pretty crucial level of support. As you can see here, on the 26th of June there, we did see a lovely bounce position coming up from there. A nice reversal in the price for Bitcoin and vice versa in terms of this level of support coming through here as well, right? We did see a nice level of support getting formed to the upside in terms of this upward sloping resistance, upward sloping support line, and also this horizontal level of support at the 33,000 there. Definitely something to take into consideration if we do see us come down any further, and that is correlating pretty well with this zone to the lower side here, right? So we could be bouncing before then, and if we do lose this zone, guys, then it is likely that we are going to see some potential short position coming through, maybe another measure move coming through, looking like so, right? So it's another short position on the bigger time frame, looking like we could be asking for it to play out here, guys. So interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff here. If we do see this retest come through, potential short position to basically play out here. And even if we are looking on the bigger time frames, right? If we're looking on the bigger time frames on this 4 hourly here, the midterm, if we are looking for a short position to play out here, entering a short position at this 34,000 isn't such a bad idea, right? The reasoning for this is because, look, you've got a lot of major moving averages here on the 4 hourly time frame. You've got this pretty huge dominant level of resistance coming through here, as you can see. Let me zoom out a bit, right? You can see this pretty big falling wedge pattern near enough a channel, right? This big pattern that this big mega pattern that we've been looking at over the last, well, since the first insane crash in May, right? Insane stuff. So yeah, we do have that in terms of a level of resistance here. We do have all of these major moving averages coming down here as well. So there's a lot of resistance playing out here. So there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for potentially a nice tight stop loss, potentially something along the lines of so. And then we're looking at that swift rejection coming down, potentially looking at this measure move, seeing the completion of this measure move. If that is to play out, that's going to be very nice in terms of a short position there, around near enough 11.5%. Very, very, very good stuff indeed there for Bitcoin in terms of a short position. And guys, look, it could happen. It's pretty likely to happen, right? Because we lost the support that we were looking for on the top side of this channel here. And that's basically the likelihood of us coming down further back into this channel is pretty likely around this 31,000 sort of zone there, 32 to 31 sort of zone there, and bottoming out to the lower side of this channel. And that's going to be sat around that 29,000 there if we do see that insane price action to the downside there, guys. So yeah, interesting stuff there. For a potential short position here for Bitcoin on the midterm. Interesting stuff to think about in terms of an entry point as well. Obviously, guys, nothing I say is financial advice. This is primarily just for educational purposes only, so do your own research before entering any trades. Can't be any more strict with that. I'm not a financial advisor. Yeah, I've got a really funny GIF for that I use in my Telegram. And yeah, anyway, if you want to join the Telegram, it is in the description, guys. Great community we've got building there. Really, really good stuff. People are chatting crypto all day, every day. We had one of the community members, their dog actually gave birth the other day, which is pretty mad. And we had loads of photos of the puppies, which was cool. So yeah, cool stuff happening there, guys. Nice community that we're building. We've got like 100 members or something. Very friendly as well. And it is a safe space for you new traders to be asking questions as well, guys. So yeah, in terms of the RSI, what's happening here, we do have this downward sloping resistance line that we have been talking about, right? We've been talking about this trend line for quite a while on Bitcoin on the midterm here, quite a while, and we have been looking for those swift rejections playing out here. So yeah, if we are going to see the progression to the upside, it's likely that we are going to see the rejection play out pretty strongly, right? It's going to be playing out pretty strongly. As the OGs on the channel know, it's pretty dominant trend line coming down on the RSI, right? So if we are going to see even some sort of progression to the upside, I wouldn't just be blindly entering along once we clear this major downward sloping resistance line coming through there. If we find support on it, right, I wouldn't just be blindly entering along there. Because we're likely to see some sort of resistance being playing out around this 200, and also we do have this this horizontal resistance point sat around this 36,356 there as well, right? So yeah, crucial point to watch on the RSI would be here if we are looking at any progression or even just some sort of consolidation, because that's obviously going to bring the RSI to that central point, and then if we have a little wave up, that's likely to bring us heavy resistance to the downside, right? So yeah, crucial point to watch on the RSI on the midterm would be that zone there. Now, in terms of a trend cycle that we got coming through here on the macadamia nut, the MACD here, you can see we've just had a bearish crossover, and that's not a surprise to me at all, right? It's not a surprise to me at all, because you can see you can see the trend, right? You can see this trend. If we go from the top side here, this trend from this point here, right? You can see this playing out. You can see the resistance that we're likely to form, right? Even if we bring it down like so, the resistance is futile. Viva la resistance is here. And that's why we're having this bearish crossover. That's why we're having the reversal in the trend, because the uptrend, it can't take it anymore. It's had enough. We've seen a resistance play out here. Yeah, and that's why we're having this downtrend play out. But with that being said, guys, this downtrend is pretty strong at the moment. We could ideally doing it with it chilling out for a bit before coming down and testing this level of support around this 212 there. So yeah, crucial point to watch there, guys, for the MACD. If we do see potential for a reversal here, if we do come down to this zone here on the MACD here, then it's likely that we're going to be looking at a pretty big take profit point there in terms of our short position that we are going to be in, right? And that pretty much would potentially correlate with this horizontal level of support at this 31,690 there. Right, let me move to the Bitcoin dominance right now, because it's quite interesting stuff there for all y'all altcoin holders. For all y'all altcoin holders right there, you can see we are having a pretty big downtrend coming through, a falling wedge pattern coming through here on the Bitcoin dominance, and that's basically meaning people are moving their money from the old Bitcoin into the altcoins again, which is nice to see. Granted, it has been a pretty red day for altcoins and for Bitcoin, right? But yeah, this is good news for altcoins. But what I would be watching for here would be that either the break to the upside or the break to the downside, right? Granted, you are at the lower side of this wedge here. Obviously, you are at the lower side of this wedge here. So you do need to take into consideration here the measure moves aren't going to be huge. They're not going to be huge, right? They're not going to be absolutely massive, and they're all obviously in speculation because we haven't actually come to this lower side here. If we are going on the most recent downtrend right now, that is going to be looking something along the lines of this, right? Pretty big, pretty dirty, indeed, and that's obviously going to put a lot of money back into the altcoins, which is good to see. It's good to see. And vice versa with the uptrend that we've got coming through here. We actually haven't touched the downside here, and we could be looking at potentially something along the lines of this. So yeah, it's not looking too bad, I must say, for the altcoins right now in terms of the Bitcoin dominance, because obviously if we see the surge in the price of the Bitcoin dominance, that means the money's getting taken from the altcoins into Bitcoin, right? So that's definitely something to take into consideration, guys. And the fact that the measure moves and the chart patterns are looking pretty flaccid, pretty boring, not that much happening, that's good news. It's good news for the altcoins, good news for the portfolios coming through there. So yeah, I would be referencing this if you are swing trading out there, guys, because this obviously has a pretty big effect on that, right? In terms of the fear and the greed, last time I checked this before I had COVID, I think it was like 10 or 15. It was really, everyone was very, very scared. It's very scared. But at this point in time, we are seeing a bit of a recovery in this, which is good, and this is obviously going to have an effect in people trading, right? So it's going to have an effect in the price as well. It is pretty scarce right now. I can see us being a lot more scarce tomorrow, a lot more fear in the market tomorrow after this insane dump to the downside out of nowhere happened in the space of like half an hour or something stupid. So yeah, it was just insane, right? Insane dump to the downside there. So yeah, I would be expecting a lower figure tomorrow in terms of the fear for Bitcoin here, or in crypto markets. Yeah, I would expect a lot more fear in the markets tomorrow. Just seeing this insane dump, that's obviously going to spread a lot of fear. And also, Barclays have done some crazy stuff. They've actually banned deposits with Binance now, one of the major banks in England, right? So yeah, not good. That's obviously going to have some sort of effect in the price, and hopefully Binance can pull their finger out and do something about that, right? Because that's pretty bad. Anyway, to the long term of Bitcoin right now. Interesting stuff happening here. We have obviously got this falling channel in blue here. This falling channel in blue. We've got a lot of touches to the top side, right? A lot of touches to the top side. We've obviously got this dirty trap. We were looking for a long position here. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. We've got this death cross coming through. Didn't really play out that much. Everyone was fretting about it. It was all crazy. But no, didn't really play out that much. We got a little bit of a dump, but nothing too major. In terms of what's happening now in terms of live price action right now from Crypto Chester. In terms of live price, what is happening right now, we do have an ascending triangle coming through, right? We've got an ascending triangle coming through, and this would be a crucial point of support that we're sat on, and that is around that 33,600, 30,500, around that sort of zone there, guys. So if we do lose that, it is likely that we are going to see the progression to the downside. We're going to see progression to the downside here. And that's going to be looking something along the lines of this in terms of a measure move, right? And that's basically could bring us all the way down to the 31,400 zone there. And that basically correlates pretty well with these candle body closes as well. If I can jump a horizontal in there so it's more visually appealing for you guys. Oh, that's the wrong tool. I forgot this mouse was really sticky. And yeah, that's around that 31,584 there. So yeah, if we are going to be looking at a short position here, guys, we do need to be taking that 34,000, what was it, 34,584 into account there. Because if we are looking at a bounce point from there, it's most likely that we are going to bounce there. So that would be a nice take profit for us to be taken into consideration. We're still around a 7% there, guys. So don't be upset. Don't be upset. 7% is 7% at the end of the day, right? It's still juicy stuff. But yeah, so that would be what I'd expect to happen here for Bitcoin on the daily chart right now. If we jump to the weekly right now, it's not the end of the world. It's just not looking very good. It's still looking pretty bearish, I must say. And we do have this lower low being set in terms of this insane downtrend that we saw before. And we are currently sat on the 55 moving averages. 55 moving average coming through here. Currently finding a bit of resistance coming through there. I mean, ideally, obviously, we are still at the start of the week, guys. So we've still got around six days and 9 hours to basically pluck up the courage and get back up there. But to start the week and have a dump like this, it's not great news. I can see it's probably coming down a bit further than that, and then before we seeing any sort of reversal looking like so. Now, in terms of I forgot to do the RSI on the daily because it's a very interesting downward sloping resistance line on the daily chart here. On the RSI, as you can see here, pretty crucial, pretty big resistance coming through here. So yeah, I would be watching this zone here on the RSI for the daily chart for Bitcoin. That could basically mean that we are going to see the resistance play out and this measure move come down a lot further. So yeah, I would be inclined to be looking at a very juicy short position across on all the time frames, right? It's looking pretty good indeed. Pretty good indeed, right? Yeah, let me jump to the monthly quickly. I just did a little review on that. We are currently at 26 days and 9 hours left. 26 days and 9 hours left. We have seen literally it's going to be like 4 red candles in a row if we do get another red candle. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a bit of a retracement in the price coming through this month. Just to level it out, right? Just to level out and validate this insane dump to the downside, which we've seen right here. And we do need to come up and test this bull market barrier at some point, guys. And that's still sat around that 44,000 there. So yeah, we do need to see some sort of green candle being playing out for the monthly chart. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it from me. Thank you ever so much for watching. Obviously, I've had COVID for the last week, so I haven't really been able to upload. I've been in bed dying. But yeah, coming through strong here. So yeah, I'll be back uploading every day again now. And I appreciate all your support in the Telegram and all my support from the fans and stuff out there. You've really helped me get through this virus, right? It's been pretty bad, but yeah, getting through the worst of it now. So yeah, thank you ever so much for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff there. But for now, it is peace out and goodbye from me, Crypto Chester.